to What Arty Nibs with general disturbance. This is the Lorraine 15550. It's the tier 7 French SPG. This one's located on the east spawn of Malinovka and it's under the command of DJJamesBound. Game on. Well, the fact that it says Lorraine 15550 means that it's based on the Lorraine 40-ton tank. It's got a 155mm howitzer as its main armament, and it was designed in 1950. That's how all the what the name means. Unfortunately, because the Lorraine 40-ton tank never actually got put into serial production, this Arty also failed to get produced. But it would have been quite interesting if they had, because it would have been zipping about the battlefield at 60 kilometers an hour, which is quite fast for an artillery piece. Now, DJ James has actually knocked down that tree, which is giving away his position, but he's backed into the spot and he's nicely concealed. Now, it appears that he's aiming up the hill for his first shoot. As you know, on Malinovka, I normally go for the spotting bush first thing, because there's nearly always somebody silly enough to actually go into the spotting bush. You do have a nice amount of ammunition. You get 28 rounds in the Lorraine 15550, so it is possible to spare one round to go into that bush and just see if somebody happens to be at home. You wouldn't believe the number of enemy tanks I've wiped out that were sitting there. Never gave any impression that they were there, but I managed to take them out with one shot. Well, it landed short, but he did get some stun and a tiny bit of splash, 35. We do know that that VK3002M, which of course is the Panther prototype, is going to get up to the hill first, and yes he does. And our guy's now T43. Now the VK3002M's got the 75mm gun, and we've got a P43 Tur with a 90mm gun there. See if we can get some damage on them. An ARL-44's turned up. Now they are fairly juicy in terms of the fact that they have very little armour, which makes them fairly easy to damage. But he's gone behind the windmill. He's really got no shot, but now we have rounds out. That's better. Caught the corner of the vehicle for 163. He got some track damage as well, so he's got damage assist. But unfortunately, we lost the T43 to the ARL-44. I think he was waiting for that guy to come forward and then put one in him. Okay, so they have both sides of the windmill. They got a P43 nearby as well. Okay, rounds out. It went long. It wasn't anticipated it would go long. I thought that was going to land short of the target. It might be a good idea for him to land the shells just the other side of the windmill, because he might be able to damage that VK enough to actually take him out of the game. But at the moment, the ARL-44 is just holding that position. Meantime, we've got an enemy Caro who's actually managed to make it into the dip. Now, it's incredibly difficult to get a shell to go into that dip, so it's really not worth its while trying unless that Caro actually pokes out of the dip. In which case, if he does, then our guys are probably going to see to him. SMVCC, nope, zaps over the top of him. The way to do it is actually to aim a little further into the lake, okay, and then wait for the Caro to pass the green line. The moment the green line gets moved, whilst you're aiming just past into the lake, then you know he's gone through the trace of the field of the shell, the path of the shell. A nice direct hit on the P43. They don't have a lot of armor, so they do take damage. The enemy have lost their ARL-44, but they're still in possession of the windmill, and we're going for the SMVCC. This time round it could be a little better. Rounds out. That's better. Yes, it was better. 207. I think he was aiming a little far back there, and another tank's moved in just behind the SMV because he knocked the trees down. We didn't get to see who it was, but it could be the P-43 Tur. He might use their Type 59 wreck for cover. Okay, wait for him to come to the corner. He'll stop. That's it. Rounds out. Yes, and a kill shot. It's easier to actually hit an enemy tank when they've stopped to take a shot, because of course they're dialing in their aim on the target. And it wasn't the P-43 Tur, it was a Basotto, as we know that they're the sausage dog. Meanwhile, right down next to the base of the lake, we saw a Caro. That was the same one that was in the dip, and the enemy is trying to make serious grounds in on our cap area. Rounds out. Well, that was a big hit. That was 572 hit points of damage on the E25. And that could have been a penetrating shot, because the alpha for this Arty is 600. In which case, that would have been a low roll penetration shot. In fact, more than likely it was. Of course, E25s don't have much in the way of armor. Oh, and that was a kill shot into the side of the Caro. So that's 2 kills now for DJJamesBound. A Jackson. They're very thin on armor. Basically just an M10. But with a very big turret on, containing a 90mm of standard armament. He's backing away, so his path is predictable. Rounds out. That might run short. Yep. Splash for 36. We didn't anticipate him stopping, but normally when you see a vehicle backing up like that, you can normally predict their path. And I think if he actually had aimed a little further upwards, he probably would have got that Jackson just as he was changing course. Go for the Jackson again. Rounds out. Oh, big hit! 289 hit points. It's a non-penetrating shot, but it was a big hit. Still waiting for the reload to go through. Standard reload, 28.57 seconds. And I think that DJ James has actually got a reload of something like, oh, it's 25, isn't it? There you go. And the OI is now taking position on that dip area. Now that's going to be worse for him. And there is a solution. Yep, he's got him. He was actually aiming directly for the path. On that side of the dip, you can do it. But if you're trying to aim a little further in, it's much easier to actually aim out into the lake and then wait for the vehicle to break the path of the shell. Basotto's gone down. It looks like the enemy does still have the top of the hill, although we've got a Churchill up there. It looks like they've still got it, although I'm wondering if those P-43s and the Jackson have pulled back. I think the Jackson did pull back, so it all depends on if the P-43 Tur is still up there. Our guys are moving towards the enemy cap now, and it might be a good idea for the Crusader to come with us. Normally say to them, fall back. But of course we don't really need to, because we've got this side of the map. Just trying to capture the other side. And of course, the closer you get, the quicker the shots onto the target. That KV-2 just took a big hit. Just line it up, let it settle. He fired too soon. Yeah, that's why it missed. You've got to let it settle. But he did get taken out by the Crusaders, so he obviously waited just a fraction longer. And the P-43 has turned up at last, and he was still up the hill. He's now trying to have a go at our T-34 up there. Or is it no, it's the T-29. Rounds out. Goes long. Yes, our T-29 was still up there, but unfortunately we lost the T-29 to their Jagdpanzer IV, who's on the opposite side of the map, just at the neck of the, or where the ramp is. So we're one up on the enemy. They've still got 2 Arty. Their Artys are a GW Panther and a Lorraine 15550. And our T-34-85M is actually moving directly north into the area where there's likely to be one of their Artys. And we're not looking up there. Now, that's something you do need to do. In fact, he was writing, actually. He says, Dickadoo, you are... Well, I think that might have been a bit wasted. He's trying to get the OI at the moment, who's right down at the base here, nearby. The GW Panther has been taken out by the T-34-85M. We're going to try and put a round into the side of the OI. Almost loaded. Might be a good idea to fire the heat round now. Load, preload, or load again that heat round. Well, he did get a big hit and he got the stun assist afterwards, so that's good. So all the enemies got left now is the P-43 Tur, which has been a bit of a nuisance up until now. Their Lorraine 15550, their Jackson, and a Jagdpanzer IV, and oh, that was the enemy P-43. Oh, he was actually, it was the P-43 Tur taken out by the Crusader. Sorry, I got that wrong. So the Crusader has now got 3 kills. We're looking for any sign of the Jagdpanzer IV. He was last seen in this vicinity. Our T-34-85M is out of our range at the moment, radio range, so we can't speak to him, or rather contact him or get any information from him. But he just killed the Jackson. And there's the Jagdpanzer IV. And now he's a one-shot, but we need to dial in. Yeah, he didn't dial in there. He fired too early. But we are capping at the moment. And I think it's the 88 that's capping. He might get reset by the Jagdpanzer IV. We've got the Churchill coming down from the hill. It's only the Jagdpanzer IV left, but he's more than likely going to try and get a reset. It might be a good idea to aim where he was last spotted, because he might still be behind that row of trees. That would be the most likely place for him. Oh, he's not there. He's actually trying to go up to the cap. And the kill shot comes in from the Churchill 7, and the game is over. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the first class tanker for DJJamesBound in the Lorraine 15550. He managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 9. He got a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. And he got the high caliber as well for dealing the most damage in that game overall. His win rate from the battle, 4,279, which is Super Unicum standard. So let's have a look at the team score and see where he came. Well, there you go. Top of the table on damage, 2,561. Nobody else was close to him. Well, the nearest was the Jagdpanzer IV with 1,867, followed by their P-43 Tur with 1,708. When it came to kills, though, the high scorers in this one were the T-34-85M, the Crusader, and the Jagdpanzer IV. All got 3 kills apiece. The T-34 got a Pascucci's medal, and, well, the Crusader didn't get any medals at all, but he did get some nice kills. 2 kills went to DJJamesBound, and of course that Confederate and high caliber, and so did the P-43 Tur. He got 2 as well, and the SMV CC56 and Churchill 7. When it came to base XP, it's the T-34-85M who did the best with 965, 953, not far behind there, came the Lorraine 15550, and 743 went to the SMV CC56. He fired 19 rounds, got 10 direct hits on the enemy, and 1 penetration. Now, I think we know it was the E25 that he penetrated, mainly because that shell caused such a large amount of damage. Yes, 572 with that 1 shot alone. It went through the armor. It's fairly thin armor on top, and the shell did hit the right spot to get a good pen. He also got 14 splashes, damage of 2,561 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damage 9 of the enemy, killed 2. Did 172 hit points of damage assistance and 549 of stun assist of 13 stuns. Of course, the difference there, 7, meant that he was eligible for the Confederate. 44,570 credits from the battle, 22,285 from personal reserves, 30,000 for completing a mission, 96,854 altogether, and after ammunition resupply, 77,854 credits profit. 1,429 XP, times 2 for the first victory, 2,860 for completing a mission, 714 from personal reserves, took away 6,433 experience points altogether. She says, Lorraine 15550 goes bananas. Well, it certainly was a good result in many ways, and it's interesting that you did score a fair bit of damage on several of the enemy tanks, especially that E25 in one fell swoop, and you got large amounts of damage off them. Look at that damage on the SMBCC. That took a couple of shots to do that for 415 hit points. If you keep hitting the enemy hard enough, then you end up with a large score. The Caro alone, well, that's a tiny one. P43 Tur was fairly tiny. The KV2, 270, so you must have hit him before. And that ARL4 was small. But the OI, that was a big one there, 404 off him alone. And I actually did at the time say, if you use a heat round, it might have actually been better because it might have gone through the side of the vehicle. I was just suggesting it because the OI is a very big target. And if you are carrying a heat round, sometimes it can actually be beneficial to switch to the heat round as quickly as possible and then pump that round in. Because if he's turned onto you and he's perpendicular to you, then you might as well use the ammo you've got available and just punch a hole straight through him and collect a large amount of hit points all at once. As I say, it's based on the Lorraine 40-ton tank, so it's basically got the same armor on the Lorraine 40-ton, 40 millimeters on the upper plate, lower plate is 40 millimeters as well, but you can see it's actually coming out almost twice the initial impacted armor because of the angling. 30 millimeters on the actual covering over the actual howitzer. It's not fully covered, of course. You've got that big gap so that the howitzer could actually move about within the gap, and you can see it's actually, according to this, 12 degrees either side of the center line, so 24 degrees in total, which means that the vehicle does have to move if it's re-aiming at targets fairly often. The roofs of the vehicle are 10 millimeters, so they're easy to pen with any Arty round. The sides, 20 millimeters, again, easy to pen if you're in a tank. And the rear, again, 20 millimeters. If we look at the live model, well, with HE, yes, you're going to penetrate even the front of the vehicle. If you punch the sides, the rear, yes, anything's going to go straight through. But there you go. Let's have a look at the modules. Okay, in the modules, you can see that we've got the driver up front with the gunner's or driver's mate. The transmission is directly in front of them. The engine's right at the back, so there has to be a transmission shaft going through the vehicle right up to the front. The gunner is on the right-hand side, the tank commander on the left-hand side, and one loader directly behind the beach, feeding the shells from the ammo racks, which are really basically behind the, or in the hull, but just in front of the, just behind the rear of the, or just in front of the rear of the casement. That was a bit of a long-winded way of saying it. Engine is sandwiched between two fuel tanks as well. So conventional layout, but when they actually designed this thing, they felt that the design had some flaws on the center of gravity. So that's why they went ahead with a second design, and that one became the Lorraine 15551. The design actually finished and completed the next year, but unfortunately, again, that design never got put into production because there was no Lorraine 40-ton tanks. So there you go. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. I do have some more by DJJamesBound. Let's hope that those ones are just as exciting. If you did enjoy this one, please give it a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.